Hello and welcome back. So today we're going to have tips on answering IELTS speaking part 1. So as you can see, it only focuses on part 1. I'm going to make separate videos for answering part 2 and answering part 3. Although, of course, there are some tips that are applicable for all the parts. Okay? So I think you're ready and let's continue. Of course, I'm going to show you some sample questions and some possible answers. Some of the tips that I'm going to present are from the British Council, from IDP, from University of Cambridge, Esol examinations, and of course the vast resources we have on the internet, and I try to collect them and simplify them. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, if you have your notes book, I guess it would be good for you to take down notes. All right, as you already know, we have here the band descriptors. This is the public version for the speaking. And we have here the different criteria. It starts with fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. Most candidates aim for 4.5 to 5, 5.5 to 6 to 6.5. Although, you know, there are also other students who aim for higher band scores, 7, 8, and 9. Why not? Okay. So we are targeting these the middle parts only. All right. But you can, of course, go beyond. So let's continue. Let's say you have here, you know, band scores 1 to 9. Okay. And for your fluency and coherence, you got 5. That's 25%. And for your lexical resource or vocabulary, you get 6. Grammatical range and accuracy, you get 5. And for some reason, okay, you get 3 in pronunciation. Although I don't think this is going to happen, but, you know, just to show you an example, because I believe it's just going to be around 5, 6, 5, 5 or 5, 6, 5, 6. Or 5, 6, 5, 4.5, something like that. But just to show an example. So you have there 4.75, and of course you will have 5. Okay? 5 as your band score for speaking. All right. So just like the speaking, for you to get your overall band score, you have here listening, sample test taker A, 6.5 for listening, 6.5 for reading, 5 for writing, and wow, this is high, 7 for speaking. Then you will have here 6.25, the average of 4 components, and you will have an overall band score of 6.5. Okay. So let's start with the tips for speaking part 1. First one here is don't, okay, or the things that you should not do. First one is parrot speaking. So what do I mean by that? When I say parrot speaking, like for example, the question is, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And then you answer, my favorite flavor of ice cream is, you know, that sounds like a parrot just copying, or just, it also sounds like a robot at the same time. Okay, so don't do that. And I'm going to show you how to do them later on. Next is, you know, sometimes it's not good to be too formal because you may sound like a lecturer. Remember that the IELTS speaking is informal. Okay. Next, the IELTS examiners are trying to detect memorized answers. So, of course, you can memorize some patterns, you can practice all the time, but do not come up with, you know, strictly memorized answers for certain questions, because those things are easily detected. Next is over speaking, going beyond the topic. You know, it's good to expound and say a little bit about the question, but some candidates just tend to overdo it. It's like once they're talking about oranges and then suddenly they're talking about, pork or beef, something like that, if you get my point. Next is, of course, you shouldn't be too casual and avoid colloquialism, okay? Or colloquial language. Of course, you shouldn't be saying dude to the examiner, or saying LOL, or, things like, what the fuck is this question? And things like those. Next, asking questions. You are allowed to ask questions, actually, but only for clarification of the question or vocabulary for things that you didn't understand. But of course, if you ask questions and then you actually want the examiner to give you answers, that's not allowed. And number 7, don't overuse discourse markers. It is good to learn transition signals like firstly, secondly, next, and then, furthermore, moreover, in addition, things like those. But, if the questions are rather simple, you don't have to use discourse markers, actually. Like, for example, what's your favorite food? Then you say, I really enjoy eating fried chicken for the following reasons. First, second, third, in addition, finally. And that's just too much. So that is over speaking, number 4. And at the same time, overusing discourse markers. Okay. Next, here are the things that you should do. Okay. First one is using sentence fillers like, let me see, or let me think. I haven't thought about that, but, or I haven't given that much thought, but, okay. While doing this, you have actually some time to think of, some words that are at the tip of your tongue, but you just cannot get them out, So this is just one way of buying time. However, don't overdo it, okay? Don't ever overdo it. Next is making up stories or situations. Obviously, there are some questions that may not be suitable, or you simply don't have answers to those questions. And you can make up stories. You can lie. But the thing is, you have to be consistent. What do I mean by that? For example, in part 1, you were asked about a genre of music that you like, and then you said it's a pop ballad. And then there's a related question in another part of the test, and then suddenly you're talking about how much you enjoy listening to country music. You see, so there's a bit of an inconsistency there, unless you're good at reasoning, or connecting the dots. Next would be elaborating answers, giving longer responses. The best way here is to give examples and personal experiences, or even observations. Let's say the question is all about traveling, and you can barely remember the last time you traveled. Probably it was 10 years ago. So it's still okay, you can talk about the last time you traveled, which was 10 years ago, or probably the last time which you dreamed about traveling, or probably your future plans, or how your sister or your best friend or your brother went on their recent trip, and how did it go, and how does it affect you? How is it related to you? You see what I'm saying? So you try to connect things together, okay? Next would be to have a natural intonation and clear pronunciation. Accent doesn't matter that much, okay? If you want to have American, Canadian, Australian, British, Asian accent, or whatever you want, okay? The thing here is, as long as it's natural and as long as you are clearly understood, okay? Intonation here is, when you have your pauses, when you act surprised, when you act happy, that actually also enables you to sound natural and to give longer responses, okay? Because when you are feeling natural, acting natural, there is a higher tendency that your brain works better and faster, okay? So next we have here organized speaking using discourse markers. There's a place and time for everything, as we say. So, of course, if you're making a list, you use discourse markers. If you're enumerating things, you use discourse markers when it's appropriate. All right. So let's try and practice. We have here the question, what's your favorite meal of the day? So this is obviously about food. We're going to deal with this question for the for the rest of the video. So answer, my favorite meal of the day is dinner. I always have dinner with my family. It's not bad at all, actually. You have there 2 sentences and, the band is probably 3 or 4. How is that? Okay, don't get me wrong. Of course, you will not have a band score based on one question only, okay? I'm just showing this so as for you to know how things matter or how your answers matter to give, an additional 0.5 band or 1 band, things like those, on how you can expound your answers. So my favorite meal of the day is dinner. I always have dinner with my family. It sounds good, but how can we improve this one? So it's band 3 and 4 because, look at this. It has limited ability to link simple sentences, gives only simple responses, and is frequently unable to convey basic message. I think the person was able to convey, so it's between 3 and 4. Okay. And next we have here, is able to talk about familiar topics, but can only convey basic meaning. Okay, basic meaning. Here, uses simple vocabulary to convey personal information, or insufficient vocabulary, produces basic sentence forms and some correct simple sentences, but subordinate structures are rare. So using conjunctions or subordinating conjunctions, right? Okay, so the good thing, full sentences, there are 2. More information, yes. I always have dinner with whom? With my family. What needs to be improved here? Repeated words, dinner and dinner. And then sentence structure, this is like parrot. My favorite meal of the day is, your favorite meal of the day. Question, answer is just the same. Next. So this is another answer. My favorite meal of the day is dinner. It's my favorite because I get to eat with my parents. We usually have rice and some meat for dinner. What do you think it is the band score? Good guess? Okay. It's still 4 to 5. It's long. Yeah, that is right. But let's see why. Okay. Favorite, dinner. Okay. Because I get to eat with my parents. We usually have rice and some meat for dinner. So you can see here full sentences, more information, answering why, because, and then what? What do you have for dinner? Rice and some meat. That is great. But repeated words and sentence structure is also the same as the question. Okay? But, 5 is still a good score. It's high. What's your favorite meal of the day? Okay, dinner is my favorite meal of the day. One of the reasons I love it is that this is the only chance I eat with my workaholic parents. We eat rice with some meat as we share stories about school and work. So band score is probably 5.5 or 6. Favorite, workaholic, reasons, and then what do you eat? So the good thing here is the structure. Instead of saying my favorite meal of the day is, then you can say dinner is my favorite meal of the day, right? More information. Who? Parents, okay? Why? The only chance I eat because they're workaholic. They work too hard, okay? Vocabulary, I think that is good, right? And what do you eat and what do you do? We share stories about school and work. That is awesome. Next, what's your favorite meal of the day? The same question. My favorite meal of the day is dinner. I don't eat anything for breakfast and I usually eat outside for lunch. I love dinner because it's the time I eat with my parents. They're usually busy, so we don't have much time to eat dinner together. Furthermore, my dad is a busy doctor and I think my mom cooks badly. What do you think? 8, 9, 7, 7.5? Okay, it's actually just 5 to 5.5. Why is that? It's long and, the answers are great. Let's find out. Okay, structure, just parrot, copying. I love dinner, that is nice. That's one way of expressing favorite. And then to eat dinner, but how many dinners can you see there? Dinner 1, dinner, dinner. Furthermore, I think this is not necessary. Furthermore, it's not necessary here. You're just being asked about your favorite meal. Okay, good things, you have more information, you also have reason. Bad things, repetition, and unrelated words or ideas like furthermore, my dad is a busy doctor and I think my mom cooks badly. I think this is not really needed because you already mentioned that your parents are usually busy. So probably 5, 5.5, 6, but not 8 or 9. In my opinion, okay? Next we have here, what's your favorite meal of the day? The same question. Let's read the answer. I eat all meals regularly, but if I had to choose the meal that I love most, it would be dinner. That is the only chance I get to spend quality time with my busy parents. Besides, I love the home-cooked meals my mom prepares. I like this. What do you think is the band score? Rather short? Or just good enough? Or just the right amount of sentences? Let's check it out. Oh, it's high. It's band 6 or 7. Why is that so? Look at those. Okay? There's if clause, and where's favorite meal of the day? No, it's not there. You just see there, I eat all meals regularly, but if I had to choose the meal that I love most, that is favorite, it would be dinner. So that is the if clause, second conditional. If I had, I would, or it would. Next, quality time. That is a good expression. Home-cooked meals, right? It sounds natural and it's concise, short, not too long. I think this is the last example. This is another way of rephrasing or paraphrasing. Dinner is my favorite meal of the day since I don't have time to eat breakfast and I have lunch at school. It's not that the food at school is terrible, it's just that it lacks variety. Also, I think that the food my mom prepares is the best because she cooks with passion. The same, probably 6 or 7. Okay, the structure, since, that is for reason, it's not that, it's just that. And then vocabulary, lacks variety, and it also sounds natural. So the other sentences support the idea why dinner is the person's favorite meal of the day. Okay? So things to remember. First is you don't have to change all the words in the questions. It's not because I'm, telling you to paraphrase or use synonyms that you have to change all the words. No, okay? For example, there are just questions which just require the same words, like where do you live? I live in ABC city. That is just fine. okay? Or answer 2, how can you revise it or how can you improve it? I live in a metropolitan area called ABC. It's the third largest city in, XYZ. Simplify your ideas. Example, my parents are very busy because they must focus on their work all day. So we rarely have the chance to have dinner together. I'm not saying that this is bad. This is actually very good. But how can you simplify it and you still have, a good answer? You can simply say, I have dinner with my hard-working parents once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon there means rarely. Hard-working parents means they work hard. They're busy. That's just it. I have 2 more for you. Ideally, you can respond to simple questions in 2 to 3 sentences and 3 to 4 long sentences for questions like tell me about or why or tell me the reason or what do you think about, However, don't focus much on counting the sentences. The point of this is for you to add details and expound your answers. The examiners don't count how many sentences you use. Okay. And last thing for you to remember is the +1 strategy. This is from me, okay? This is what we call John's strategy. How is that? For example, what plus with whom? I really love spending my free time at CGV. And then I usually go with my best friend, right? Probably the question here is, what do you do in your free time? Next is what plus why. I'm keen on reading detective stories. I enjoy the thrill of solving crimes. Tell the reason. Probably the question here is, what's your favorite book to read or type of book? Who plus what? I would say John is the person who inspires me to do my best at school. He teaches me maths and languages. So what does John do? Right? Or say something about John. And when plus how often or how much or how far or how beautiful, anything, or how much, how many. The last time I went to a fast food restaurant was just last night. I often go to KFC for dinner. It supports the first sentence. Last example, where plus why. I dream of flying to Switzerland in the future because of its magnificent landscape. My favorite drama series was also filmed there. So you see, it supports the first sentence. Is it that difficult? Yeah, I don't think so. And I hope you can use these strategies or these simple tips to answer part 1 questions. So stay tuned for tips on answering part 2. That's all for today, and bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, post a comment, and hit the bell right there for notifications. Bye-bye for now.